Teresa, wait. Yeah, it's going.
Okay, welcome back to Deb's Dog Tricks of the Trade. Now we're going to continue working on Carson. And what I'm going to do is the rear end and the hocks. I did hocks on a pet trim about a week ago, but that dog wasn't a pet trim and didn't have all of this quote-unquote specials coat. So now I'm going to be able to show you some of the things I was talking about. So I've already done his feet. So let me make sure everything's hooked up here. Okay, that's gone. That's done. Live. Okay, we're good to go. Now we're back to the 9-blade again. 9-blade. Now, whenever you pick up your clipper, look at the blade. I can't tell you how many times I've had a 30 blade on this. I put it away. 45 minutes later, I go to grab it, thinking there's a 7 on it, and whoops, bad. So always make sure that you check the blade. So now, when the judge is looking at your dog, what the judge wants to see back here is a quote-unquote bend of stifle. We will go over this when we do the breed standard. A nice bend of stifle. Okay, no dog is perfect. If I faulted Carson, and we will be doing more of that next week, he could have a much wider, there we go. He could have a much wider thigh. He doesn't have one of those big, round, chunky thighs. I will put Kira back up and show you a really good rear end. And when you get all this hair out of the way, you see how straight he is? Okay, he doesn't have, he needs a little bit more angulation. He just needs more thigh. From here to here to here, his proportions are good. A third. So the proportions are good, but he doesn't have enough angle in this rear end. He's straight, not totally straight, but more straight than he should be. So what we need to do is now we need to groom in. We need to create an optical illusion of more bend of stifle and more angle to his rear end. That's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to pick up all this, and with the 9-blade, I am going to go in here. Now, for all of you that are watching, I will be uploading the live feed onto one video, and I will be uploading the widescreen on my YouTube channel. I will repost this, so everything that you've seen today as the live feed. Now, I just switched over to the 7F to kind of top that off and blend it in. Now, I don't know if you can see, but trust me, that makes a big difference. So I clippered this out, which gives the optical illusion of more bend of stifle. And again, you're not doing this the day before the dog show. Pretty good on both ends. Okay, you want to pick up all the hair. You see all this? Look how much hair is there. Okay. It's all gonna go right in there. And yes, for this I am going right up against the skin. Now later, right, I want that hair to stay, and I want that hair to stay, so all I did was take this out. Now with all that hair stain and all that hair stain, you see how I just created more of a bend of stifle? And it's all an optical illusion. And there goes my microphone. Oop. Okay. So there is so that's the first thing to do. Now, we have all these hocks. I don't think you guys need to see me, you need to see the dog. For all you dog show people, I think you've seen enough of Debbie Kirk, but you don't need to see any more of me today. Okay, so again, I'm going to turn these scissors around and use them as a straight shear here.
Oh my God, my phone just went dead.
Oh, here. All right. Same thing here. Now I'm pulling this hair out a little bit, yes. Because remember, I'm trimming for the show ring. I'm not trimming for him running around my backyard. And when he goes in the show ring, I would have already taken the water, the cream rinse, the hair dryer, and these hocks are going to get blown with the dryer up, up, up. So when he goes into the dog show ring, all of this hair is up, up, up. More like a poodle being sculptured than a sporting dog with feathering that is straight down. It's my headlight getting in the way of all you guys. Now, Carson is a grandson of Kira. He is also a grandson of Jesse James. Okay, Kira's daughter was bred to Jesse James, which then created his father, Champion Candy's The Dark Knight, who was finished by Howard Huber. So, however all the pedigrees go on that one. So, as much as we all love Jesse, the most gorgeous headpiece in the world in modern time, he actually had 2 flat planes, which we'll go over next week. Listen, Dottie, my sister, don't even know where that came from. It just was there. How gorgeous. And he sired it. I mean, I know tons of people bred to that dog and got that same headpiece. No dog is perfect. But on the up and back, Jesse could be a little narrow behind. So this dog does the exact same thing. OFA hips. OFA eyes. Okay, so we do have all that. So on this dog, because I know he stands like this. I mean, this dog stands to die for. Just naturally stands. But when he moves, he does. Now again, if you watch the other tape, how much hair am I leaving on here? Here's your standard Belgian comb. Okay, look at that. All right, look how much hair I'm leaving on. For this dog, because he's straighter in the rear than he should be, I'm actually leaving more Hock hair than I would on a dog that had correct angulation in the rear. Why? Because I need to create an optical illusion. This is corrective grooming for the show ring. I have to take this rear end that is not angled enough, and I have to create an optical illusion with my grooming so that when the judge looks at this dog for the whole 3 minutes of attention that they can give him, they will have a mental picture that, oh yeah, his rear end's great. But it's not. All right, so already, just with the way that I have carved this out and the way that I have done that hock, can you see the picture that gives you, okay, of his rear end? Way more. It just looks like he has way more bend of stifle than he does, especially with his markings. The judge is just going to take a snapshot in their brain of this picture here. They're not going to be going like this and then standing back and looking at the dog. Look at the difference. Okay, this is that dog's true rear end. Okay, but that's not what we're going to show the judge. What we're going to show the judge is that rear end. Hello? Wait. I mean, that looks like a normal bend of stifle and a normal angle for the judge to see. So, again, that's one of those little tricks of the trade. Now, because he does have this black hair here, I am going to keep that trimmed off in a straight. If I let this black hair grow out, it would continue to grow, of course. But because, now what does this do? Now, how short is his hock? Optical illusion. He's got this tiny little hock, doesn't he, for the judge? All right, and again, because of the optical illusion, leaving what? Jeez, 2.5 inches of hair there. For God's sake, look at all that. Right? Short little hock with a big bend of stifle. That is the picture that you see in your mind when you look at this dog. Ta-da! Cool, huh? But in reality, that's why grooming is so important. That's why knowing your breed standard is so important. And mixed in with the breed standard, sadly, is a little bit of what are the judges used to seeing in the ring? What are they looking for? What picture are they matching up in their brains? Our breed standard still calls for, calls for off the spine of this dog where the tail begins to have that little dip right here in the croup. That would be the proper tail set of a Springer. But if you trimmed that in to show off that dip, there's not an American judge in the world that would even give you 4th place in a 4-dog class. They would hate it. Even though it's boldly stated on our standard, and even if you go to all your Facebook friends who show dogs in Europe, hell, they trim that out. They trim that out to show it. And not only that, but this dog doesn't even have it. I mean, our American bloodlines have gotten to the point where a lot of our American bloodlines don't have it. Now, I wouldn't fault a dog for not having it, but again, I'm not going to fault a dog who does have it. We're still going to groom that straight across because that's what the judges want to see. But when you're going over a dog, and I've done some judges education, and I really need to stress that because a lot of judges go over that with their hand. They go, oh, this handler, this breeder's trying to fake me out. This dog's got a terrible dip there. That's awful. Read the breed standard. They're supposed to have that. All right, so back to this. But that will be next week's classes. Okay, know your breed standard because you can't groom a show dog without your treasure map to grooming a show dog is the breed standard, period. Right? You want an instruction book on how to show groom a Springer Spaniel, it's your breed standard, period. That's your instruction book. You know the breed standard, you put your dog up on the table, and you make, with the hair that you have, you make that dog fit that perfect picture of the perfect English Springer Spaniel. Now look at that. Look at that. Short, tiny little hock, nice big bone. The judge's eye sees this big, huge bend of stifle, especially when I have him lean forward than in the show ring. Look at that. So in the 3 minutes that I have the judge's attention, that's what I have the judge looking at. Gorgeous. And that isn't reality, folks. Okay, but there you go. So from the back. And again, when you give him a bath at the dog show in the morning, and when you blow him out, all this hair gets, with the dryer, all this hair gets blown up. And then, of course, all this hair gets blown down. So now this is a combination of trimming out this stifle right in there, like I showed you, sculpturing your hock, and it is just sculpturing, and then allowing, I wish this dog had more hair on his rear end, Right. A nice specials dog would have this float right over top, which would be, look at the bend of stifle in there. And that's just, right, all optical illusion. Okay, I'm going to show you that. There's Connor. Now, Connor had a to die for rear end. Do you see how thick this thigh is? How thick this thigh is. This dog had a gorgeous front end and rear end. And that is his true stifle. That is his true angle. That is the true bend of Hock. I never had to do cosmetic grooming on this dog's rear end. Never. Never. And the Hock hair here would have been, I don't even know that it was a full length of a Belgian comb, because why? Again, if your dog is perfect at something, just take the hair away and let the judge see the normal structure of the dog. Otherwise, leave as much hair as you can, because it's the hair that's going to give you the ability. It's the hair that's going to give you the ability. You're going to use the hair to mold it and shape it and give the optical illusion of that. And again, you have this, take your favorite dog out of a magazine, go to Office Supply when they're open again. All right, get it laminated and stick it on your wall. That is what you're trimming to. That is a #1 show springer. That's it. That's what you're trimming to. Okay. Back up on my wall. I know, Carson. This is just horrible. Doing a half hour, 45-minute groom, like, taking me all day here, but I wanted to invite everybody to come join me. All right, so now we're back to the rear end. Okay, I am going to switch back to my my 7F blade. Check your blades. Check your blades. Okay. Okay, now I have not touched any of the hair on top of this tail. I will not do that. That's actually going to be part of the top coat work. And I already showed you how to take your 7F blade and just sculpture the top of that. That's good to go. We did a 9 under the tail. And then I will take the hair to the two sides of the tail and just go boom, boom. And of course, make a nice rounded edge on the back. Okay, now this is something else that I want to show you. And again, we're kind of getting into, yeah. Okay, bring this so you're not looking into the mirror. Now, again, you want the judge to see a fairly, short, compact dog, blah, blah, blah. Okay, a lot of people make a mistake when they're grooming a show dog and they're leaving way too much hair here. You don't want that. Coming off the base of this tail, you want all of this to be flat. And that will shorten up your dog by 2 or 3 inches. So he was just trimmed in a full show trim 2 months ago, so there isn't really enough here to take that off and then show you, oh my goodness, you just made the dog 3 inches shorter. I'm trying to figure out a camera angle here where you can see what I'm doing. And he's black, so that doesn't help. I don't know about you guys, I can never see a black dog when I'm grooming it. All right, so again, some people use a thinning shear going up under. I don't recommend that. You're going to end up with big holes. Right, so I am going straight down with these thinning shears. And I've got my cell phone on one angle and the widescreen on the other, so again, I'm always going to suggest when there's a part 1, part 2, live feed, wide angle, that you watch both. So I try to set up the phone. I try to set up the 2 cameras. Where's my phone? Now, the other thing at home, you don't want to finish your trim. You don't want to do a finished trim at home. You want to leave some hair on because you're going to get to the dog show, you're going to bathe this dog, and you're going to blow it out. Every single time you bathe the dog and you blow it out, hair is going to fall in a different position, and you're going to have to retrim it in. So you're not going to want to finish this dog's trim at home. You do enough. You get it almost to the point. Let's say 95%. Put the towel back on, put it in the car, go to the dog show, and that will give you, you would be amazed. You come to these 5 days events like my club hosts, and if you watched one person every day with the same dog, somehow, every single day, they find more to trim. And you look at yourself and you go, how can that be? After grooming it at home, bringing it, and then every single day, they put it up on the table, and every single day, you will see them get out their scissors and their thinning shears, and you will see them trim more hair off. And, you know, some of that's nerves, and some of that just is when the dog sleeps in the towel, the dog gets wet, you blow it out the next day, and it's just, the hair is just falling at a different place. And of course, when you're at the dog show, you are trimming that dog to be shown that day. So, anyway, you see how nice and flat I got that? That's like perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, top coat on this dog. This is going to be a 2-day thing for top coat on this dog. I'll tell you why. Because he was bathed this morning, so he hasn't worn this towel for 24 hours. And that's a must. And naturally, this dog has a wavy coat, which in our breed standard is fine. They are allowed to have a wavy coat. However, I just think it puts them at a disadvantage because, again, the judges are looking for that picture perfect in the group special springer, unless it's a breeder judge. All these other AKC judges, you know, judge a dozen or up to 200 breeds. They just have a mental picture of maybe what they see in a group ring. So, and that's it. See how flat and smooth that top coat is? Right? So, we all know what these dogs look like over here on my Facebook channel. Right? That's the picture that the judges want to see. So you can take a naturally wavy coat, which, by the way, is permitted in our breed standard, but you can make it flat. So then your dog looks like the best of breed dog that the judge has marked in their brain. Okay, this is where I need one of those. I don't know, I guess I need you over here. My cameraman. I don't know where, I guess they'll, let me, your phone's dead?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna send Neil up the house. Go get Barry's phone so I can call these people. Or, here, Neil, hold on. Here, go put this sign on the door. I groomed my little show Yorkie today. Go put that on the door. And now Neil's phone's dead.
And just unlock it.
And yeah, leave the deadbolt on. That quote unquote unlocks it. Unless you know the door code and you can unlock it, but you don't. So just leave the deadbolt on. Anyway, he was gonna text Neil when they were here to pick up my little show Yorkie. Okay. So, well, meanwhile. Anyway, so to do top coat work here in the thigh area, I don't back comb. And we're going to go through back combing when I get my camera guy back so that he can pick up the camera and give you an aerial view. I need one of those drone things. Ah, there's Chloe's dad now. So, when you're trimming this, and again, the blade of your shear has to match the direction the hair is growing. So here it's growing this way, here it's growing this way, here it's growing this way. Chloe gone?
He just got there.
So is she gone?
Yeah, here's money.
Oh, okay. Up. There's my big payday today. And when you go to my YouTube channel and you look at these, please check the like button if you like them, and please subscribe to my channel. When I go to my YouTube channels, they always say, and push the notification bell and you'll get notification when my next one comes up. I haven't tried that yet, and so, but you're welcome to do that. But please subscribe and
Give it a thumbs up.
and give it a thumbs up. Extra like that. So you can see, and just don't over trim. Just like 1, 2, 1, 2. I am constantly moving these thinning shears. You don't want to make the mistake of taking your thinning shear and just go like this. You're going to end up, it turns into a straight shear at that point, and that would be really bad. You see how I'm just constantly moving? Constantly moving. Okay, constantly moving. Make sure. Okay, now here he's got black coat, kind of going into white coat, which I'm actually going to leave because I want the black coat because it gives it more of a bend of stifle look optically. And again, this is where you have to groom the dog you're grooming to the breed standard. There isn't one set of instructions for a show groom trim. I mean, even with the specials dogs, they all have their things. They all have a different top coat. But ideally, yeah, if you're lucky enough to get one of these specialties where you might even see all top 10 or top 5 English Springer Spaniels in the country, you stand back and their finished trim pretty much all looks the same, but you get your hands on the dogs and their coat textures are different, but the end product is that you just want it to look like that picture of Connor that I just showed you. So all along the sides and the rear end, you don't do any vac combing. This is just 1, 2. You never do more than 2 strikes of the thinning shear. And then you are constantly going back, constantly, and brushing it to see what you have. All over the place, back and forth, up and down. I did, I guess, this big report in high school, biggest research paper I ever did, you know, one of those, and it was on Michelangelo. And it so impressed me when I read about this man's life and just the way he thought, just the genius thinking. He would sit and stare at a piece of marble and stare and stare and stare. And he said, within that piece of marble is the image. And then with that image in mind, he would just take his tools and he would chip away the piece of stone or marble that didn't belong there to end up with the final image that was already built into that piece of marble. And that is exactly what we are doing when we sculpture hair. You've got to have a finished idea in your brain of how you want this dog to look at the end. And honestly, all I'm doing is taking away all the hair that I don't want. I'm sculpturing all this hair to get down to the final vision, if you will. I was Very grateful. I went to Rome once for 10 days. I did get to go to Vatican City. And oh my God. Neil, you're the Catholic. What's the name of that statue with Jesus' body in Mary's lap draped over? Oh my God. I saw that. Oh my God. It put shivers up my spine. It was, emotionally, it was one of the most emotional pieces of art I'd ever seen, of course. But I already knew that about Michelangelo because when I went, I was in my mid-20s. So I just stood there and walked around that piece and looked and just imagined him with all of his tools, just chipping away at that marble to get down to that image that was already inside that piece of marble. And boy, knowing that about him gave me so much more of an appreciation for what I was looking at. And of course, we all know that Michelangelo would get cadavers and cut open the bodies. He was one of the first that did that. And he would look at muscle and sinew and blood veins and bone, so that when he sculpted, he was seeing right through the surface of that person's body to the blood veins and the muscle and the sinew under it. And boy, when you see one of his statues, boy, can you tell. That is exactly what. Same thing with these dogs. If you learn the breed standard, I'm not just looking at Connor's picture over there and trying to match this dog to that picture, because I do know the breed standard. I'm looking through this dog's top layer into the depths of his body, into his bone structure. That's why I trimmed this. This was bone structure back here that I was trimming to, not a picture on the wall. All right, so you can see, and because he's been grown out for 2 months, and again, I don't recommend that. This is way too long for a dog to be up on a table. If you have a dog in specials coat, you want to keep it in specials coat, I would highly recommend that you bathe it once a week, towel it for 24 hours once a week, but then groom it at least every 2 weeks. With Connor in full specials coat, I had to do him every week. If I went 2 weeks, it was like, whoa, a week too long. That underline, that will, for me, will be last, I'm thinking. Anyway, so I've got more scissor work to do on this dog, on this side, but that will be done tomorrow after I towel him and get this hair straight. But I want to bring the camera up close so that you can see what I have done for both sets of people here. Bring it up close. Right? Okay. The widescreen version is capturing it way better, gang. So there. And for a class dog, I could probably show this dog in a wavy coat. Yes, it's just a personal preference that I don't. Right? But for specialing, no. No, we're going to make his coat look straight. Now, this is the side that I haven't done. Well, and I'm hoping that the camera can pick this up. The other side looked like that. See all that? See all this? So this is the undone, the untrimmed side. Ta-da! And that is the trim side. Just the side where I'm stroking. I haven't done any of this. This is what I call, well, this is the top of his top coat. I mean, the whole dog's body is the top coat, but we're going to do something completely different with all of this. But now I've just done the rib cage, and there, big difference. Okay, I'm going to cut this off for right now, and then I'm going to come back and show you what backcombing is. Okay, see you in a few minutes.